Hiya friends, Prepared Suburbanite back with you. This particular video, I want to address setting priorities. And if you're just getting into prepping, or you've been a prepper like I have for a number of years, I think one of the most important things that we need to be doing is being prepared to be prepared. And I'm going to talk about three separate things that we all need to be doing to be successful in your journey of being prepared. The first thing is very simply a debt assessment. The second thing is developing an income and expense budget and learn to use it. And the third thing is to take inventory of what you've got and what you need. So stick around and let me get into all the details. So the first step, I think, in being prepared for being prepared is to develop that debt assessment. Find out exactly what you've got. I know too many people that simply charge everything, and they've got multiple credit cards. I have even counseled people and friends that have gotten themselves in way over their head in credit card debt. I was an official debt counselor with the Family Debt Counseling Service back in my day, and I've seen people get deeply in trouble using their credit cards for everything and then not paying off the monthly amount every single month. So when that happens, they're paying minimal or maybe a little bit more per month on that credit card debt. And the interest rates are so exorbitant with those kind of balances that you can really get yourself in trouble. So take an inventory and make an honest, disciplined assessment of your debt structure and assess your debt that way. Dave Ramsey has probably the best plan out there. If you've got multiple credit cards, it's very simple. You start with the lowest balance and you pay that down as fast as you can. So if you're paying it down at $50 a month, then in a couple of months, 3 or 4 months, that card is paid off. Don't ever use it again. Cut it up, throw it away, and use that $50 a month to take your next highest balance and pay that one down, along with the plus minimum payment or plus an extra $50 a month, and pay that one down until you've got those credit cards totally eliminated and you're only using credit cards for the purpose that they were designed for, which is convenience. And if you allow balances to accumulate and start paying minimum monthly payments, you're going to get lost. I use my credit card on a regular basis, and just for the convenience factor, ordering stuff from Amazon, doing stuff online here and there, it really is a convenience factor for getting all that kind of stuff taken care of. And at the end of the month, I pay the balance. But I can afford to do that because I've only got one credit card. My wife has hers. She does the same thing. So it's very simple. Don't let that debt get out of hand. That's the pay down plan. If you need some more information, go check on Dave Ramsey's YouTube channel. He has got the real plan on how to get that taken care of. So, the second thing that I want to really harp on is developing for yourself a true income and expense budget. Now, you can purchase those online. There's different home budgeting software packages that you can get. There's online software packages that you can get that do your budgets, and they interface with your bank and your investment accounts and your IRAs and all that. I use a simple spreadsheet, and that simple spreadsheet gives me all the information that I really need to deal with. And it's very simple. I guess maybe I've got the benefit of having a degree in accounting and having spent over 30 years in the financial arena, mostly on the healthcare side, but I've been treasurer for our church and things like that. So I've learned how accounting works. And the spreadsheet that I developed from a template that I found online, I just created an income section, I created an expense section, I created an interfaceable budget that I can feed into the expense side of it so that I know what my income is, what I can plan on for income, and what I can use to base my expenditures on. And it's amazing what happens when you develop that kind of discipline on a regular basis. But I gotta caution that you've got to be brutally honest with yourself. You've got to know what you're really spending your money on. You've got to know what you've allowed in your budget for you to be spending that money on. So you've got major categories like food, you've got your insurances, health insurance, house insurance, those kinds of things, entertainment, so you get your cable bill or your streaming expense there, anything that you use for entertainment. You've got your dining out kind of expenses. You've got anything that you can think of that you're spending money on. Create a category that you can track it and use it in that kind of software or on your own developed spreadsheet. I'm a spreadsheet guy, and I've learned how to use them. Excel is one of the most powerful tools that you can ever really invest in, and I've taken advantage of it. So my discipline is every morning when I get up, pour myself a cup of coffee, I go out, check the news, and then go update my spreadsheet. I record the expenses that either my wife or I got into the day before, and I'll record them. And if we went to the grocery store and bought food, that goes on the food line. If we went to the local home improvement store and bought supplies to work on our garden, then that goes in the garden section, garden expenses. And just tick it down, tick it down, tick it down, and break it down into manageable categories that you can manage properly. You've got to be able to take a look at what you're really spending your money on. And those receipts that you get from every store you go into are a valuable resource in making sure that you get things properly categorized so that you know what you're spending on. For example, my wife sometimes goes to our local wholesale club, which is BJ's, and she'll buy supplies, paper towels, food, groceries, shampoo, all that kind of stuff. And she'll walk past the clothing section and she'll see, oh, there's a great pair of jeans. So she'll take a look at them and say, I'm going to buy those. Well, that doesn't go in your grocery expense, that goes in your clothing expense. So take a look at those receipts, break those things down so that you know exactly what you're spending your money on. And take a look at what you're really spending your money on. If you're like any of the younger folks around and you're ordering DoorDash and you're getting more than half of your food delivered to you on a regular basis from local restaurants and takeout places, you may want to take a look at that if you can't meet your primary goals of making sure that your debt is under control. Take a look at the frivolous expenses that you're spending your money on. I budget a very specific amount that I'm allowed to spend on myself for my hobbies, for my my vices, I guess. If I want to buy some tools to work in the garden with, that's a hobby, and I'll record that expense under hobbies. And if I buy a bottle of scotch, well, that goes under discretionary purchases, and I've got a very limited budget for that. So I can track all those kinds of things so that I know what I'm spending my money on. And the best advice that I can give you is really just be truthful and honest with yourself when you break things down into categories and you look at what you're really spending your money on. I think it can be an eye-opener. And the third big thing, I think if you're trying to get prepared to be prepared, is to take a look at what you've got. Take an inventory of your pantry. Take an inventory of your preps. Take an inventory of all the things that you use on a regular daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis, and take an inventory of that kind of stuff. Take a look at what you're really utilizing on a regular basis. So when I say take a look at your pantry, we've been prepping for years. It's been a long, long time. And I have to force myself to go into our prepper area, which is half of my double garage and a separate bedroom that I've got upstairs that we put extra stuff in. And I have to go in on a regular basis, not every day, not every week, not every month, but every quarter, maybe every 6 months or so, and just go take that inventory. See how many cans of green beans you got. See how many pounds of rice or beans you've got. See what's there for toiletries and toothpaste and soap and stuff like that, and take an inventory of that and take a look at what you've really got and use it. Keep the food and the kind of perishables on a rotating basis so that you're using the oldest stuff first and replacing that when you use it as time goes by. As we all know, inflation has affected food prices. It's affected pretty much everything that we do, from your utilities to your gas bill, the electric bill. And you've got to be frugal. You've got to be paying attention. So if you know what you've got, you're a step ahead. So I bring all this just to a sort of a conclusion that there's a three-step process. One is take a look at your debt. Make sure that you're not misutilizing or underutilizing or overutilizing your credit card expenditures. Take a real hard look at your credit card statements every month when they come in, and do an honest and fair evaluation of your spending habits. Take a look at your income and expenses, and if you are not meeting your expenses, then you've got a couple of choices. You can increase your income, maybe get a side gig, do something, start a YouTube channel, cut firewood, do what I do. I make wooden custom American wooden flag replicas, and I sell them for a fair amount, and it's fun to do for me, and I think it serves the community with some pretty cool stuff. So think of ways that you can increase your income, whether you get a second job, whether you get a side gig, whether you work overtime. Make sure that your income is in excess of your expenses, and take a real hard look at your expenses and know what your expenses really are and what you are spending your money on, and what your wife is spending her money on. So I think that's very, very important. Reduce the frivolous expenses. We don't go out to dinner on a regular basis anymore. We enjoy our garden. We enjoy the fresh vegetables that we get and the fruits that we get from our garden and our trees. And we don't go to restaurants except on very special occasions, like when there's a wedding, or there's a birthday, or it's a special occasion. So that's about the only time we ever utilize going out to dinner. But everything else we cook at home, and the food is much better. It's healthier, it's homegrown, and we know where it came from. And knowing what you've got, I think, is very, very important. If you know what you got, and you know what you don't have, then that's the purpose of taking that inventory. If you know what you don't have, I just did a quick inventory check just yesterday, and realized that I've only got one tube of toothpaste left, and there's two of us. So we need a couple more tubes of toothpaste. That goes on the next supply run to our local wholesale club. And that's another thing. The local wholesale clubs, some folks here use Costco, some use BJ's, some use Sam's Club, and there's other ones around that allow you to buy in bulk. And I think that's important, to be able to buy in bulk. You can get things on a unit basis a whole lot cheaper when you do that. So take an inventory of what you've got, take an inventory of what you think you need, and create that budget and work within it. This is the Prepared Suburbanite. I hope these 3 tips can help you out. Let me know in the comments below what you're doing to make sure that you're prepared for being prepared. And I'll see y'all on the next video.